All right, yeah, there we go. I just there we go. We're good. All right, cool. Of course, you saw what I put as the title, so I'm gonna try to make this at least somewhat quick. The question on our minds is very simple: is has Playmates foolishly just did something very stupid? Because it's like, oh my gosh, you're telling them, okay, so I think it's like, oh man, hold on one second. I gotta type this in just so I understand. Because I'm like, man, I'm not aware exactly of how far Cosmic Fury has been. That's what I thought. 2 years. 2 dang years. So you took 2 years to basically get to this point of being like, I have an idea. I would have preferred you just did year one. It's like, yeah, like last year. I prefer you would have done it last year. So at least we have this all dealt with. Versus it took you 2 years to get to this idea of being like, we're gonna start like the very beginning, including the Zords as well. No, 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 the Zords are gonna be completely different. It's like what? It's like yeah, the Zords are gonna be completely different, but we're gonna do exactly the same thing as it was very beginning when it came to Power Rangers. We're gonna go like way back in the day, exactly doing the exact same thing that they did, but we're gonna add some extra modern day stuff too. So what they did was we got introduced to the flip heads. Why? Why did you think this was a good idea? It's for the children. For the children. For the children. You'd think everyone who actually is watching Power Rangers is basically children. Who is buying the toys? That is your main thing to think about. Who is buying the toys? The kids. Who gives the kids the money to buy the toys? Or who is the person who buys the toys instead of the kids' stead? Who does it? The parents. So if the parent sees this, the parent sees this right here for $9.99 each. Yeah, think they're gonna really actually be like, okay, son, I'll do it. There might be a good chance, but there might be others who already know the Power Ranger brand. They were like, this is a downgrade. Why in the world are we gonna be buying this? This is a freaking downgrade. For $9.99, we get this flip head. Seriously? Seriously? Seriously though. I mean, the only good news is that, well, and I tried to do the same thing when Power Rangers was getting the pillow way back in 2010. They did the cheap crap. So that's the good news is like it doesn't seem it's not that bad, but it's basically kind of like sadly a step up, which doesn't mean it's a good thing. It's not truly a bad thing. But I'm just saying it took you 2 years to come up with this idea, and then they brought back the big ones, and it's like I think that wouldn't be too bad either. And do you have because there's two versions of them because I do remember two versions. One was the action to action ones, and then you have ones that actually speak or their vocals glow. What does that one do? And it's like, yeah, what does that one do? And of course, it's not going to be the flip. It's not going to be the one that does action crap. No action to action, but still, it's like, does the vocal glow? Will they say something? What does that one do? And the worst part is that you're telling me that there is no Billy yet. You don't have Billy yet. You might just have four of them out of the 5/6/7. Are you crazy? And then we get into the articulated figures. Cool. That's all right. That might be okay. They're not muscly, which is good, but you did add muscles to them. We can deal with that. Excuse me. Like, yeah, it's like that one's all right. That's modern day. But then the modern day extra part is we have the Zords, and the Zords are for 17.99 each. Even the pterodactyl is like, even the pterodactyl is 17.99. Even the pterodactyl. Are you crazy? Are you out your mind? And to get the Megazord all together is $90. Seriously? When Megazords used to be like 40 to maybe even $60, I guess, ranging. You're making us go for 90. Are you out your mind? $90 for the Megazord. Again, are you out your mind? Are you seriously out your mind on that? So do you think do you think the parents actually will buy it for 17.99 and they is no electronics in it? Because I was trying to bank on it, being like, there might be electronics in it. They might be smart enough to make it just like Voltron. There might be electronics in it. There might be actually electronics in it. They might actually have like the joint sequences. Maybe when you fire the missiles, they'll have the same sounds as the TV show. Okay, maybe you have the pterodactyl going shh. That will be cool. You have to put gyro sensor on it as well, but that will be cool. When you start putting the Megazord together, it does the whole dee 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 dee. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like it makes it an awesome enjoyment to put the Megazord together. It's like I think I would just have the Megazord always put taken apart and put it back together because it would feel so good to combine them. Oh my gosh. Do you not know how good that is? Even freaking Super Sentai figured that out. They figured that out in K. Ruger. They figured that out in K. Ruger. And they put it back, they brought it back in Zenkaiger. And you're telling me that, oh yeah, no, 17.99 for, it's like, it's a good freaking, oh, they brought the motorcycles back. Cool. Have figures for the motorcycles, but the good news is that I will say I didn't mention this, but considering you don't have much paint on them in the first place, it works out. It's like, yeah, they made them, they're cool, but they gave them some weird, stupid vests to put on. But I'm pretty sure, hopefully, maybe you're able to take those off. I hope not. I mean, I hope so. You're able to take it off the bike itself. I hope you can. So with all that said, besides the Blade Blaster, which is what 19.99, the Morpher, which is 16.99, the Dragon Dagger is 19.99 too, but that will be next year. The hell, they won't give you a gold Morpher unless they're gonna do it for the White Ranger. But still, that's kind of a jerk move though. But it's like, oh, but we got them the Morpher. We would like them to put Dragon Dagger, the Dragon Coin into the Morpher, and they still can do it. That's charitable, very charitable, but also looks kind of like messed up that you decide to not give them the gold Morpher. And it's like, I really hope it is for the White Ranger. I really hope you're doing it for that. If not, then I'm like, ugh. But at least the good news is that the Morpher is cheap. And it's kind of made cheap, but hey, it does have some sounds. Hopefully, no nonsense sounds. I hope not. It's like, yeah, it's like that's the only messed up part. It's like, hopefully they have no nonsense in there. Hopefully they calculated, they figured what sounds should be in the Morpher. They might have got Austin St. John and everyone else to do something. That'll be cool. Queen is gone. Dang. Hopefully you just decided, or heck, you just took it from the TV show and just tried to clean up as much of the sound cues you can. Perfect. Thank you. Good. Put everything together. Was this a good idea to make Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the idea start for their freaking launch of their stuff? Possibly. But what about the execution? Oh my gosh, dude, you out your mind for all this. Well, if it works, I'm glad to insert foot. But however, I'm like, you out your mind. At least you got the articulated ones. At least you were smart enough to bring them out because I was like, you could brought the flip heads and the freaking Zords. Of course, you have the Morpher, and you have the Blade Blaster, and you have the Dragon Dagger. Where's the damn Dragon Zord? It's like, oh, that's next year. That's next year. So Dragon Zord's coming next year. It's like, yeah, it's like, man, you crazy, you out your mind. Oh man, you're doomed to fail. You are doomed to fail. But it's like, we'll see. I hope that they're dive back to the past and they're like, we can do it, man. We just dive back to the past, dog. We just dive back to the past. It's like this is the only thing I'm gonna give you a pass for. You're doing this so you can actually get an understanding of how they built them from when they started to how they got to, Jungle Fury or even RPM. Get an understanding. But hopefully, well, they won't have the mold, so they're starting from the basics, which I think when it came to the beginning, they only just had the molds for the Morpher and the Zords, allegedly. Everything else they created by themselves. So this time around, you have to do it all by yourself versus just two things that you have. So it's not like you're starting like the same as them. You even had to make the Zords and you had to make the mold for the Morpher. So you had extra time that you had to do. Again, if you're not, it's like you should have. It's like just 2 years, 2 years, you moron. And you're telling me that you didn't have an adult line ready? I don't care. It doesn't even have to be an adult line. You could just have something where it's like, here's for the kids, Mighty Muffin, and here's for the other great for the fans. The fans get to have a lot of freaking SPD emergency, but nope. No, you don't get to have SPD emergency up in here. It was like, yeah, all you had to do is just get a morpher, get the five ranges, make them articulate it for them by five ranges, the morpher, that's good enough. You could make the Megazord too, but it's like, I would just say, you just do these. And you should have had this released in spring, not in fall. You should have had this like in January. They should have released like in January. If you release them in January, do you know how crazy people will go? I would say don't make a mass supply. I would just say make a limited supply and as you go. Don't make lots of supplies, just limited supplies. The five ranges, the morphle. See what the fans say. If the fans are like, well, you should actually also, since you made that articulate, I mean that, you know, what Ultra Megazord, then you should have made Ultra Megazord of the SPD one as well. So you make those. Like there you go. So you got the Megazord, you got the Morpher, you got the five ranges. You would be shocked that everyone is going to be sold out because you decided to cash in on the year, but you didn't do that. Your 2 years of planning, or maybe they have 1 year of planning, but I'm going to say either way, you had like 1.5 to 2 years of planning, and this is what you came up with. This is a bad plan. It's like, yeah, this is a bad plan. If it makes it, I'm happy for you. But for me, looking at this, I'm like, y'all guys, for some reason, went weird. And I don't understand why you went weird. Why did you go weird? Why did you fit the flip heads? The flip heads, they came back in Samurai, but that's it. That was a novelty. Why did you bring out the flip heads? They look weird. Yes, Hasbro did flip heads. No. Yeah, Hasbro did do flip heads, but they did that for collectors. They did it for the freaking grown-ups. They did it for them. Yeah, the kids might have had it too, but they did it for the grown-ups more than anything because it's like nostalgia. This flip head thing is nostalgia too, and you're like, oh, it's for the children. Like, oh, don't give me that. Yeah, it's like, nah, don't give me that. And it's like your take on flip heads is weird, man. So are they really due to fail? Not necessarily, but they could have hedged their bets. I know Mighty Morphin you think is safe, but the messed up part is like if you think it's safe, the messed up part of this is the design choices you make and how much you pay and what you think you should do to sell it and stuff. The Megazord, what the hell? The flip heads, they're weird looking. What the hell? Megazord, it's $17 each for each Zord. The hell? I always had an issue. Eventually, I had an issue when it came to the figures because I'm like, when you look at the figures for, let's just go for Bandai. When he came back in full force and everything is nice and normal, I'm like, why would I pay lots of money for freaking Kendra? I bet that's not even her name. For the Violet Ranger female, I have to pay the same exact money as the male. Why? It has less plastic. This is Mr. Frick Cup. I feel like you're robbing me. This should be $7 and the men should be $10 because you're not using a lot of plastic. So it doesn't make sense for me to do this, and you don't even have anything to compensate for it. Been like, yeah, we don't use much plastic, but hey, this is pure profit for us now, man. It's like, don't you think you are being very, 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 very manipulative on this? Or should I say just sneaky, messed up, a jerk move? It's like, yeah, and then Ninja Steel came, and it's like, why would I pay this money for the Pink Ranger and White Ranger? But at least the good news, I got them for clearance. So it's like, no biggie. $4 for each of them. No freaking biggie at all. I'm good. So again, are they doomed to fail? I would say not truly, but dude, they did not make it so that they'll win. This is a gamble, actually. So we'll see. And this is maybe testing the waters, testing ground. But I'm just saying this is that hey, if your Zords and your toys land in Ollies, I'm not getting the flip heads. But the Zords, oh yeah, I'm so maybe gonna buy them. It's like yeah, it's like that's the only way how it's like you're not gonna get Dragon Zord to get freaking the pterodactyl leg feet, so I can actually not have to buy it. So yeah, that one's gonna have to wait until it goes to Ollie's. So tell me what you guys think. Was this a good idea in their part to do this? And it took them basically like 1.5 to 2 years to come up with this idea. It's like this is a good idea. It's like I like Playmates, but seriously, why in the world would you think this is a good idea? Anyways, I'm gonna go.